Hi, Timothy Carlson here, and if you watch my channel, you know I love anime. And I actually was really happy to see that one of the very first animes that I ever saw was finally getting a Blu-ray release. So that's what we're looking at today. This is Iria, Zeiram the Animation. Actually an animated prequel to a live-action Japanese Zeiram film, although ironically this animated prequel has far surpassed its live-action source material in terms of popularity. I'm going to unbox this release and share my opinions. Nice cover art featuring the title character and a few of the supporting beings, as well as the title villain there in the corner. There's our spine text. This does have a little slipcover on it. Back cover. Underneath we actually have alternate cover art and then reversible art that has the same art as the outer sleeve of the slipcover. There are 6 episodes that run about 30 minutes each for a total of about 3 hours worth of content, and it's all on one disc, which is pretty nice and handy. Underneath the disc, you can see the reversible art, which again is identical to the one that's on the cover of the slipcover. Witness the killing dimension action upon the world of mice. Iria is registered bounty hunter 9799-5, and she has a score to settle with Zeiram, the evil alien organism. But the question is, will she survive? As an apprentice hunter, Iria can't wait until she gets fun jobs like her big brother and top hunter Gret. In fact, he's just got a new one. Get to a ship to drift in space and evacuate crew, passengers, and cargo. It sounds fun enough to tag along uninvited, only it goes wrong from the start. Evading an assassination attempt from the very people that hired them, they make it to the job site and find it's a bloody one. The crew is dead, the passengers are terrified, and the cargo, well, that moved itself. Iria encounters the so-called cargo, and it's Zeiram, a creature said to be immortal. The terrifying monster turns Iria's life upside down if she barely manages to escape from the ship with her life. Gren, however, is not so lucky. Iria finds herself caught up in a conspiracy to cover the events of that day, and with every step she takes, she finds Zeiram right behind her. Why is it so interested in her? Does it simply want to kill her, or is there something more beneath its black carapace? It's time for Killing Dimension action in Iria Zeiram the Animation, complete and remastered with 6 OVA episodes. When I was a kid in the late 90s, probably 13 years old or so, I was really starting to discover anime for the first time. And at the time, it was a niche thing, a very limited reach in the United States. I mean, it's not like today where you turn on Netflix and there's a new anime every 5 minutes. Back then, this stuff was pretty limited in terms of its distribution in the United States. I mean, Sailor Moon and Dragon Ball, of course, were the first series that I discovered, but I remember one day with my brother, we were flipping through channels, and on the Sci-Fi channel, they were showing some random anime movie that had, sci-fi weapons, was very violent, and had this, sassy young lady as the hero, and I was immediately hooked and started watching. I didn't quite know what it was or even what the title was of what I was watching, but it immediately won me over. The Sci-Fi channel back in the day was one of the few places that actually showed anime, and like every Saturday morning, I remember they always used to show some of the old movies. Like I remember they showed that Gal Force movie with the all-female spaceship. They showed like one of the Odin movies, and there were a bunch of others. I don't even remember what all there was, but upon doing some research, I learned that the show I was watching was called Iria, and I never owned the series on home video. I think I taped it off the Sci-Fi channel. But at long last, that's been corrected. I finally actually own a physical high-def release of this show, and I could not be happier. Of course, the series takes place in this sort of dystopian sci-fi fantasy world where you have plenty of violence around every corner, an unstoppable killing machine, and hired bounty hunters, along with a lot of corrupt businesses and the like. Iria, the titled heroine, she's certainly a fun character, sassy, beautiful, and certainly knows how to kick butt and take names. If you got to follow someone for 6 episodes of an OVA, I don't think you'd ask for a better heroine than Iria. The supporting cast is equally interesting, including her brother, a rival hunter, a young orphan who becomes enamored with Iria, and a little bit of everything in between. The landscapes and the hand-drawn animation, everything just looks absolutely gorgeous. This is a very violent show, however, and I would say, I don't think there's a rating on the package, but I would certainly say this is TVMA rated content. just on account of how violent and bloody it gets at times. Again, you get about 3 hours worth of content here, 6 episodes clocking at about 30 minutes each. There are a few minor pacing issues with the show. I don't think this needed to run for 3 hours. I think they could easily have trimmed this down and maybe made a slightly tighter 2-hour movie, but I am happy to have this in its entirety in a high-def format at long last. Anime on Blu-ray is always a hit-and-miss experience. Sometimes you get these beautifully remastered things from the original negatives and sources, but a lot of the times it's just standard def upscales and they really don't look that great. But it says right here on the package, all new HD transfer from the original film negative, so that's a good sign. And from the moment I popped this in, I could not have been happier. This is a gorgeous looking disc that beautifully preserves the hand-drawn animation and really brings out the vibrancy and the colors. When it comes to remastering old anime on the Blu-ray format, this is what titles should look like. I mean, it's also presented in the original 4:3 ratio, so there's no unnecessary cropping. I didn't notice any noise reduction, sharpening, or other unwanted anomalies. I mean, there's a few minor little flecks and signs of print damage here and there, but I guess that's just sort of par for the course. Overall, I am extremely happy with how Iria looks on Blu-ray, and I think longtime fans of the series will be as well. We even get some bonus features on here as well. There are some textless versions of the intro and outro, as well as a sing-along version. Interviews with some of the cast and crew, some text interviews with some of the cast, and even some commercials for the releases of the series and photo galleries of some of the products, including model kits and older home video releases. I'm glad this isn't just a bare bones release. We get a nice assortment of bonus features, picture quality is gorgeous, and of course that hand-drawn animation I absolutely love, long before CG became the norm in the industry. And of course, you know, the surreal landscapes and our young heroine and the mindless killing machine she has to go after. It all comes together very nicely and makes for one of the most interesting, violent, and all-around entertaining anime experiences that I've ever had and certainly recall from my youth. A very highly recommended package. If you're a fan of anime, even if you've never seen this, I think it might be worth the blind buy. I think you can find this on Amazon for maybe like $25 or so, which is actually pretty good for all the content you get here. Are you a fan of Iria? Do you think it's one of the best anime series out there? Do you have fond memories of watching this when you were younger? Do you think it's the best at what it does? Comment down below and let me know what you think. Also, remember to subscribe to this channel for more content because I'm always posting new videos. And make sure you give this one a like if you found it helpful. I'm Taylor T. Carlson. I'll see you next time.